way early. God damn it.
So John will probably make a guest appearance tonight.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who's vagina?
John.
Oh.
John's vagina.
All I heard was vagina.
No one said vagina, but
I heard vagina. Whoa. You said John. And I mean, you kind of mumble a little bit.
Toxic.
Yeah, here we go. Lola.
Astros looks like he owns $1 billion tech company in the valley.
Astros came. Hold on, we're gonna do this live. Give me a minute. Astros came up with the topics. Is gonna be the name of the podcast.
Wait, I gave 5 topics. We have to pick one.
You have to pick all 5. Let's do it.
Pick all 5. I don't have time to do a 7-hour podcast.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Great
let's
planning.
jam. Wait, I hit record. It's not. There we go.
There's our intro.
3, 2, 1. Let's jam. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 258 of LOLA Podcast. It is I, your host, Wise Papa Smurf, here with energy, talking like this, in this fashion, and with me is Double Sniffed. How you doing, buddy?
You son of a bitch. I'm in. I'm good.
Sanchez.
Putting a crew together.
Putting a crew together with these guys, with his fucked up weird science hands. And Astros is here. He looks like he works at a fish market. Hey, Astros.
Hi. That's toxic, by the way.
That was good. That was good. I like their. I'm gonna bring back the earlier one. He looks like everybody outside of an NA meeting that asked me for a cigarette.
Yeah, that's a good one too. It's the hat, man. He looks
Dude,
like
my
he just
hair
got off the most dangerous catch or whatever, like
So the
straight up
issue
off
is-
the boat.
My hair is so long that like I can't tuck enough of it back with my headset. So like when I get mad and I slam my desk, then like hair jiggles loose and falls in front of my face and it pisses me off.
Astro, you look like a roadie for a Pearl Jam cover band.
He does.
Do this all
He
night.
does. Oh God.
We're called
League of
Jeremy.
Legends.
We're here called Jeremy.
So
League of Legends
Astros
podcast.
gets so mad at his fish wife. that he can't
League
even,
of Legends
can't
podcast.
even do this right now.
I did not stay up to get bullied for an hour. I'm
No,
gonna
you
be
didn't.
honest.
You came up with the topics. This is the only one that we came up with.
This is going to be like the most
Things
YouTube
Astros
watched
look like.
podcast. Like more people are going to watch this one than listen to it. They're going to be like, oh shit, I got to see what this motherfucker looks like.
This is how I've been streaming every day, and I've only had one person call me ugly, so
You only
a
have 2
win.
people subscribed.
Yeah.
Well, subscribers don't matter. Viewers matter. 2 subs is still more than the Lola channel. So
That is. I'm on my 35-month anniversary of Prime sub.
Yeah.
sub
Hey, so we have a sponsor this week. I don't know if you guys knew this or not. I've been getting our name out there, and this week's episode is brought to you by Captain Astro's Upper Lip Shaving Razors.
Ooh, those are nice razors.
Yeah, it keeps your upper lip completely clean despite the ferocity of the sea. Captain Astros means quality.
How
All
did
right.
he become a captain? Who
Huh?
fucking promoted him that quick? Captain?
No, dude.
He's already a
After
fucking captain. Like
after you-
captain.
you work the docks enough years to get a hat
like-
like that.
Maybe like
I mean,
Captain.
dude,
like
it's
Captain
not like there's
Crunch.
holes in the fucking hat or like grease stains on it. It's a normal just fucking blue beanie.
It does smell like fish, though.
It doesn't.
Did your grandfather pass that down to you after surviving Pearl Harbor?
He caught the largest narwhal in the Pacific Northeast. He's like, Astros, I want you to have me hat.
Take me hat.
Wear it on your podcast, son. Let them know that
I
you
still-
came from the salt of the sea.
I stored it up me ass for 3 months for no good reason. Nobody wanted it. I just kept it
I
there for
just kept it
safekeeping.
there.
I
And
was
it
in
was-
Topeka at the time.
Because it's warm and my boat is cold. Like the sea.
It still smells of the sea.
And this is where half of our listeners close the fucking episode and go to Triforce. This is why we struggle.
This is what separates us
This
from
is-
Triforce.
This is one of those.
That's the
those
sad
listeners-
part. We're losing viewers to
Yeah.
Triforce.
No, see, they closed the show so they could open up Patreon and support us directly after this. Because they're like, we need to get Astros a new hat.
New hat, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what the...
You never
the
paid for my tattoo.
Because we didn't get the money for
We
the
didn't get the money, yeah.
tattoo.
Yeah.
A new hat can be a smaller goal. Like, hell, if we get back over $200, I'll buy him a new hat.
Ooh.
I'm not gonna wear it.
Yes, you are.
Oh,
100%.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, for a whole episode, you will
The
wear
second I get a haircut,
whatever
I'm not,
novelty
like,
hat.
I don't enjoy wearing shit with
It's
headsets.
for the fans, my man.
For the
do
fans.
It for do it for the kids.
I
For
offered
the
a
fucking
permanent-
fans.
I
For the
offered a
children.
permanent spot on my body forever for the fans, and they didn't follow through.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Don't you ever talk bad about our fans,
Don't you
Astro.
ever. They're the fans.
I'll fucking kill
Wouldn't
all
even
the
be
fans.
here. Anyway, so this week, Astros, you have like 5 topics you wrote down. Well, and only like, actually, none of them are about the sea. That's surprising. So, what are we
It's
talking about?
almost like I hate the sea. I don't know. What do
After
we
it
wanna
took your
talk
grandfather and the
Mm.
Norwal got away?
about? My grandfather's still
Rip.
whatever.
Rest in peace.
That's John the Fourth is my grandfather. John the Fifth is my dad. He'll probably walk through the
God,
background.
I hope your dad comes home with like a huge ass fish just dangling over his shoulders. Like
They
a
went down the
swordfish or
street.
some shit.
They went down the street for food and beers, so we'll see. Maybe he stumbled in, but
Or if he comes in, he's like, Astros, do you have a cigarette? Like, I
my
know
dad-
you
my
do
dad
with that
quit
hat on.
smoking.
Anyway,
No, I might look like a stoner and a big crackhead, but I've never smoked in my life.
You look like everybody that's gone to a bank to apply for a loan for their new hemp store.
I want to
you act
sell
like
pipes, tobacco smoking.
It's CBD, man. It's making a comeback.
CBD.
CBD oil, man.
It is. Okay. Anyway,
Can
so
we use the podcast
tonight-
money to pay for my haircut instead?
no, I don't think people want.
Do we get to pick the haircut?
Do we get? Yeah.
No.
Oh. Yeah.
I'll PayPal you right now, mullet man.
Yeah.
Oh, motherfucker.
We don't even need to do this. on
Sweet
Patreon.
mullet. Oh my
Right
god.
here.
Party in the back, business in the front.
That's what the hat does. I already have the party in the back.
Mm.
Except the business in the front is an unsuccessful
That's right.
fishing.
You would rest your mullet on a pillow made of concrete. Okay, here on.
King Charming the Wicked.
Wicked. Here on. Oh yeah.
So, okay. Anyway, League of Legends this week. About that. So, Astros, I'm going to let you pick from the 5 topics you wrote. What are we talking about?
Hold on, let me pull up a random number generator,
Okay.
and then we'll set it. Since there's 5, we'll go 1 through 5. Should we?
Okay.
We'll roll it, and it'll pick which one we're gonna do for us. All right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Double. You want to count me down?
Our generation calls that a die.
Well, dire
Roll a-
died, but good
Roll
try.
a D6 and.
You don't keep a pair of old Viking bones for throwing for such occasions?
Mm.
All right, Double. You want to count me down on this roll?
I don't know what that means. Are we going like 3, 2, 1, then go?
You got to set. You got to tell me.
3, 2, 1, roll the shit.
Oh, that was anticlimactic.
Jesus
We're talking about
fucking
LCS
Christ.
rosters.
Sweet. LCS rosters.
Let's do it.
All right. So, Action Jack. First thing I want to talk about is TSM.
Sounds
Right?
good.
So, TSM, has anybody got their full roster in front of us? Because I remember
Yep.
it's like
I
Broken
know
Blade.
exactly.
You got Broken Blade, Dardoch, Bjergsen, Kobe, Bio.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, of all those people, obviously the standout in this roster is Dardoch in terms of what he is adding or subtracting from the roster. It's an incredibly risky move. He's been good in the beginning of the season for every team he's played on, and then mentally kaboomed his team about 4 games into the season, and they never recover.
Can somebody explain to me why this is such a great pick? I don't get it.
Okay, so
Because he's not a pussy jungler like
So,
every other.
it has a unique possibility of being a kind of magic jigsaw puzzle piece that solves all of TSM's issues, or it will go horribly.
That's
So,
everything
like,
that they've done. Every move that they've done can be explained the exact same way.
no. This is
Best in the West, all that other bullshit. Every
no.
move that they've made.
This is special. This is different. So TSM has like a multi-season issue of destroying junglers. Like they'll bring in somebody who's on their prime, use them, discard them, and then that person will usually play way the hell better. And you've seen it again and again with like Santorin. You've seen it with Sven. You've seen it with Amazing. Who else? Who else was on TSM that was like? Well, I'm not even gonna count all the shit that happened last season because none of those guys were. I guess like was Acadian on there?
Acadian was.
They benched him before the fucking playoffs.
Well, I
Didn't
know
they?
that.
Wasn't he
I'm
like-
just saying, like, I just can't remember.
He was. Yes, he was
Because
there.
it was
I
like
thought he was their best
Acadian-
option.
It was
I mean,
Acadian,
sadly.
Grig, and
Acadian
somebody
Grig.
else.
And then
like,
they brought in some new
Speaka.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaka.
Spica, that's what it was. Acadian, Grig, and Spica, and all three of those, nothing really happened. It was just garbage.
Well,
Like Acadian was really good, and then he went and played for TSM, and then he looked terrible.
well, no,
Yeah.
he was.
He wasn't even that bad.
In summer, he was like a super dominant jungler. He was like by far a top 3 jungler in the league. You had Xmithy, Zen, and then him, and then Santorin. Like those were your top 4 junglers in NA. And then like it's not a secret anymore. There was like big issues between Acadian and his girlfriend. He cheated. It caused like a shit ton of drama.
Is there a video of that?
Obviously, the Chad of League of Legends obviously just can do whatever he wants with women. So who knows? And then that caused like a big blow up. And then Grig came off a wrist injury and didn't practice with the team, so he was a bad option.
So his
And-
lack of girlfriend led to a wrist injury.
Who else was banging his girl? I don't understand why this is a team issue. Did he just
No.
boom mentally because he got caught cheating?
It's not like a super like flushed out story. I know there was problems internally between him and Sven.
Oh, they were double teaming that shit. He was
No, I
ganking.
don't
He was
think- I don't
ganking.
think- I don't think-
Wild lane.
I don't think Sven's getting.
Was it a
anything
3-man
in that.
gang?
I don't think Sven's getting anything. It's pretty ugly. But he is tall, which I'm not, so maybe that's why he gets girls and I don't.
He's the best in the West, baby.
Sven walks up while Katie's with his girlfriend. He's like, "Pardon me, mightn't I use the poopin' shaft?"
You take any human being and stick them next to or Mithy, they're gonna look good. They're gonna look fine. I would look. I'm a 10.
He didn't
next to
have Mithy. He had Smoothie.
Doesn't matter. All the pictures that image was ingrained into their heads. It's like beer goggles.
Maybe.
It's like
That's
the-
my theory. I'm sticking
like
to
the
it.
fat girl in high school that hangs
But-
out with like the slightly less fat girl in high school.
Yeah.
Makes her look good.
The grenade. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
the grenade.
Grenade.
He's the male grenade. He's
Is
the
that
nade shot.
actually a term?
Oh, that's a 100% turn.
Is that really a term?
Oh, yeah.
I guess I'm old. I didn't.
Shout
know
out
that
to
one.
my boy Ray, who I obviously wasn't in the
Shout
game
out.
like that. Ray would hop on the fucking grenade. He liked him thick. He got the Medal of Honor so many
Hey, dude.
times, man.
Shout out to the grenades out there.
Hey,
Thank you.
Ray's my boy, man.
Thank
Hooking it
you
up in
from your
Denver.
friends.
Mhm.
So the
Look at it.
reason I think like this pickup is the only jungler I wanted to see at TSM. Like honestly, and
Why?
the reason
Why? I mean, I'm gonna
is
counter.
you have a non pushover jungler. Like it doesn't matter who you bring, you can't have a soft spoken jungler on TSM.
Okay.
And like 2 things, I think it was 2015 or 2016. I think it was preseason to 2016. Dardoch went with TSM to Korea and scrimmed with them.
That's true.
And they had Sven Skaren there. And at that point, like there was pretty much when you look at the 2016 TSM roster, there's no improvements you really make. That's your Onser, Sven, Beard, double bio. We don't have to talk about the roster move after that run, but like you have no use for Dardoch there. And then Dardoch, I believe, was tied into contract, and they already had Acadian and Grig, so there was no sense in bringing him this season, like without just dumping a shit ton of money.
Well, okay, so to counterpoint that, because like I think you are right that he has incredible potential to fill in that gap for TSM and what they actually need. Because they need a jungler who's going to stand his ground. Dardoch will certainly do that. They need a jungler who's going to actually make plays, be mechanically dominant, and has very high highs and a ceiling that I don't even think's been tapped. The problem is...
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. The problem is Dardoch is his own worst goddamn enemy, and he drags every team that he is in down. Right? And that's, I think, TSM. The reason why I think that actually still may work on TSM is because Dardoch's entire culture and philosophy and personality is about winning. And
that was going to be my point. Is
yeah,
like when you're playing with someone like Bjergsen, who is like respected as one of the most like dedicated players to, I don't care about how much money I'm making in NA. I'm here to fucking win, and I'm here to go to Worlds. Because up until this season, when he got the partial ownership of TSM and all that shit that he got when they renewed his contract, he was paid super low in respect to like all the other big names.
I thought they put an axe to that. I thought you couldn't be a player and an owner now.
They worked it out. Parth, and
it's okay for Bjergsen.
Because C9 got fined like shit tons of money for it.
It's cool if you're Bjergsen though.
They talked to Riot for a year about like how to make this actually work, and the way that it like ended up working is even if Bjerg gets cuts for the team, he's guaranteed the money from the partial ownership. And there's a lawyer that's now not employed by TSM or by Riot that has to handle the like, legal
no conflict of interest.
Yeah.
I follow that.
And I mean, they did it very professionally. They did everything ins and outs of trying to get Bjerg like the best.
It still seems like a ridiculous exception being carved out for this guy for the sake of marketability.
Well, I think the difference is also is there's franchising now, and when C9 did it, there's no franchising.
Okay.
So I
will say the C9 TSM situations are different. C9
they didn't disclose it.
It was earlier. It was clearly not kosher and whatever, so they just got hammered for it. But that's fine, whatever. As far as the TSM thing goes, I do want to get back to Dardoch because I honestly think that like, okay, so you have Dardoch, and he's a guy that is incredibly passionate about everything he does. He's super blunt to the point where he's negative. He is not a great teammate at all. Like, from what I understand, the Breaking Point video that Liquid made, every other team that's had him has said none of that's improved. And it starts off as Dardoch's reformed, everything's great, and then after they get rid of him, they're like, he's not, he's a piece of shit, we hate him. And so I see that as like a continuing trend with this guy. And I honestly think that he will either work on TSM or he will completely wash out. Because it's too high baggage.
And here's my counterpoint to that. All of the negatives that you're talking about seem to me the reason why they got rid of Doublelift, right? Doublelift was like too obsessed, too hard. His standards were too high. He had a big mouth about it. Am I right about this?
No, that's a really good point.
Like that's the main reason. And
I
like
hadn't thought of that.
So all the negatives, all the reasons you got rid of Doublelift are those. But yet Doublelift brings all this fucking winning and dominance to the table. And you're going to take on Dardoch. Like, it just – and it makes even less sense to me because they're trying to bring in Biofrost. And, like, the coolest thing about Bio is that, like, one of the coolest things about him leaving TSM is that when he joined the CLG – I want to make sure I'm right about it. He joined CLG and, like, became their shot caller. So, like, if you're bringing Biofrost back in, who's already strikes me as a timid guy who's just now, like, expected and probably mentally prepared to do some of the shot calling – you're going to bring a guy like Dardoch in to compete with him on that? Like,
I think this is where the fact that you're having your two shot callers now being you have jungle and support, and that's what you want in the first place. Two, you're taking pressure off of Bjergsen from having to shot call, and I think that's going to be big.
Here's another question: at what point do we just call Bjergsen overrated?
I don't think he's overrated. I think last split was definitely an underperformance, but I don't think you can like. By the roster of mid laners we have right now, the only two mid laners that you can, the only mid laner that I'll accept you to argue with me that is better than Bjergsen in NA is Jensen. I think Niski definitely had a better split than him last year, but I don't think overall he's a better player.
No, I mean, I'm with you. It's just it seems to me like it's a bit of Uzi syndrome. It's like, oh, Uzi's the greatest ADC, and it's like, well, yeah, they play the whole game funneling around him.
Well,
Like,
that's the thing.
you
TSM
can't
all
judge
summer,
him on that. Like,
TSM all summer didn't play around Fury. They played.
and you know
around-
more. I'm not pretending
and
like
I'm
I
not,
keep
like,
up with
arguing
you.
with it.
Like, your LCS knowledge is like way better than mine, which is why
It's-
I'm trying to ask. But these are just my impressions on it. It's like I don't see why people are so hyped about this. It seems like this is a been there, done that. And like Blake was saying, like, this is the issue with TSM. And like, in my opinion, the issue with TSM is that fucking Reggie is the Jerry Jones of the LCS. Like, he is an owner player who has way too much control, way too much fucking old ass. Like,
Well, okay, so let's talk about
which
that.
is a different point. So
Let's
if that's
talk
a
about
different
that.
I don't
point,
want to get off the Dardoch point yet because I
Okay.
want to make one more like big point about Dardoch that I think is like actually a big deal. So if we look at it, the last time Dardoch played in like a while, like the last like big name team he played on was Team Liquid. When it's not showing me the old Team Liquid lineup, but oh yes it is. He had Phoenix in the mid lane, Lorelo in the top lane.
Piglet and
yeah.
who else? Who's the support? That
I don't even think it matters at that point.
okay.
Like, he's never really been on a good fucking roster. You're playing with Phoenix and Piglet, who are both psychos, and Lorlo's a psycho, in the fact that he's just delusional. And I think that's the biggest part. I don't think
Well, like,
Team
hold
Liquid
on.
blow up is
Lorlo
only
is
Dardoch's fault.
Lorlo is exactly what Dardoch needed because Lorlo was like all in on Dardoch. They were like besties, and he's like, Dardoch, you're so good. And then he's like, Lorlo, you're shit. And he's like, I am shit. Oh my god, you're right. You're good.
See,
And
that's not what Dardoch. Dardoch will tell you your shit when you're not when he knows that you're not playing like you should be playing. Like,
Okay,
and then
so
we look at the Echo Fox.
I did read an episode, something that Thorin wrote, like an article on Dardoch. Did you guys
Mhm.
read that by any chance?
I've listened to the Face Check episode with Dominate talking about Dardoch. I've listened to the Listen Loco episode, the podcast where Thorn and Loco talk about the Dardoch pick.
Yeah. So I read Thorin's article, and it was really good in terms of his analysis on exactly why Dardoch could be good and why he could be bad, right? But the thing that he said was like basically the most unforgivable sin of Dardoch is when you put him on a team that he feels like is underperforming, he doesn't play to his peak. He will just give up or act like a prick or do whatever, and like he feels like his team sucking justifies him not giving his all, right? And rather than being the guy that puts the team on your back, you're the guy that's like, well, this team's a piece of shit. That's an excuse for me to not try. And if that mentality is not fixed, that is the antithesis of what TSM is supposed to be about. Right? Like, the reason that I think he may work on TSM is because his like competitive drive and winning is always first, and it's a failure if we're not in finals, is like the attitude of TSM. And that's Dardoch's attitude, is like try hard, win, bleh. But if there's adversity, if there's failure, if there's stumbles, I feel like he's just gonna magnify that. And TSM, without a rock solid foundation, just shits the bed. Like, and that's because like it undermines their whole counterculture. Then Reggie has to get involved, and then some weird shit happens, and then somehow they come back into some sort of playable form. Yeah, and that's kind of been what you've seen every split that TSM has had a crisis.
I mean, TSM has a crisis every split. It's just the facts of being interested in TSM. But again, I think the roster that he has is full of people that he has a large mutual respect for. These are like most of them you can argue are going to be top 4 in the roles. I think you got Bjerg, Broken Blade. Not sure. He had a really good summer showing and a really shit spring showing. I think Bio is top 3, top 4. It depends on if you prioritize him over Smoothie. Is usually where that sways between.
He's better
him
than
being
Smoothie
third.
now.
him being third and him being fourth. You have Kabe, who I don't think is going to be like this insane.
Where did he
Like,
come from?
EU.
He came from Splice. He was good.
I didn't
he's
see
good.
hardly any of Splice's crap. Was
Really,
he
really
impressive?
good late game team fighter.
He's a cleanup 80 carry. He's a lot. He reminds me of a lot of like Cody, and what Ven was supposed to be.
Yeah, he's get him to the late game. Just get him to late game and let him take over.
Yeah, he'll go even. He might fall a little behind in lane. He's not gonna like run it down. I think it's gonna be big. And then you have Dardoch in the jungle, which like mechanically I think he matches up. It's gonna be him, fucking Smithy,
See, but
Medios.
you say like he has mutual respect. Like, do they respect Dardoch? Like, is he in a position to command that kind of respect? Like, what's he done?
Well, between him and Bjerg have a lot of mutual respect for each other.
Okay.
Ever since they played like back in 2016 or whenever that.
I'm not being rhetorical about it.
No,
I
know.
I'm asking. I mean, I didn't want to sound that way, but it's like, who is this guy to sit here and say, oh, I respect you? Who gives a fuck?
I mean, Dardoch's like Forgiven without Forgiven's winning record.
You also have to remember Forgiven had a better roster. Like
Copenhagen Wolves?
We don't have to talk about that roster, you know?
I mean, he was good on that team.
It gets to the point where it's like, if you're playing on a roster that's like, imagine, do you remember like Golden Guardians' first split when they came in with the all NA roster?
Yeah.
And they were 10th place?
Yeah.
At that point, it's just like, if you're the biggest name on that roster, it's just like it doesn't matter how much I overperform, you're not carrying 4 sacks of dirt faster than the 5 people running 1 bag of dirt.
Here's, I think, the difference is when you put Forgiven with 4 bags of dirt, he still looked really good.
I think it was also a lot easier to solo the game back in Season 5 than
that's true. Fuck.
I mean,
God damn.
Amen, brother. But like when you put Dardoch with 4 bags of dirt, Dardoch is a bag of dirt.
But how do you play jungle when all your lanes are shit?
I do it every day. Every day. Every day of my life.
Yeah, how often do you win because your dirt's...
Yeah.
How often do you win with 5 actual piles of dirt?
I don't know. I didn't do very well at the end of the season with 4 bags. And so, I mean, whatever.
And jungle isn't in a space where you can command. The only issue I see TSM running into is with if dragons carry this much power into the actual start of Season 10, them not having a super aggro bot lane might cause issues.
The other issue is like, wasn't Grig's thing like super early aggressive jungler?
No, I fucking hate Grig. Grig is a smite. Grig is
That's what they said, right?
He can smite fucking steal almost any objective. He's a lot like Xmithy.
That was, I mean, I thought Xmithy was overrated because of that. Like, Xmithy had so much value boosted onto him because he had some really crazy game-changing smite plays. But you take him into Worlds.
I mean, I think when you take any jungler like Smithy into Worlds, like, it doesn't matter because you have junglers like Clid who has even better like knowledge of the game and better mechanics, and then you have junglers like Tian.
Tian's disgusting. I mean, Peanut's fucking good. There's so many great junglers in Asia. It's just,
and that's the thing. It's like
that's the biggest gap I think in NA.
I don't know. TSM's roster, I'm excited for, but I don't know if it's gonna. My biggest fear for the actual roster is Broken Blade.
Really?
I'm nervous about his performance, especially the way it ended.
I think Hanser is a better top laner.
I would have loved to see Hanser come back. Instead, he's stuck on a really, really shitty lineup this season.
I thought Hanser had more versatility, was harder to play around, and had more adaptation in his game. Broken Blade it's a carry jungler.
Top laner.
Top laner. That's what I meant to say.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. I also want to point out that we're 28 minutes in, and the topic is LCS rosters, and we've pretty much just talked about Dardoch.
Well, I mean,
but
a lot of these are really shitty rosters. A lot of these are really shitty rosters that we don't really need to talk much about.
I mean, the only other thing that we could talk about is fucking Liquid making the move that they needed to make, which I'm really, really happy about.
I'm still iffy on that one. We can go into that next. I just want to say I'm really happy Bio came back to TSM because I like
I'm too.
Bio.
No, I like Bio. I think he's better than Smithy.
It's not even that. I just love Bio Daddy.
I think he's a good guy.
Yeah. So do we want to just go into TL? I think this one will be pretty quick.
This was quick. Broxa,
Alright.
great move. It was the move to make. It was the move. It's the. I mean, what other moves? What other lane would you improve on that team?
Jensen was in talk of getting replaced
For whom?
from TL.
No, for whom?
Who's an upgrade?
They were willing to get rid of him.
Why?
That was the rumor.
Where did we
played
hear this?
fucking awful. Travis Gafford.
I mean, he shit the bed at Worlds, but like, I cannot imagine him having a 1-year contract.
Here's the thing. Well, that's the thing. No one's when you're paying 1.5 million for a Vulcan contract buyout, you're not paying the money for a fucking Jensen buyout. But it's like, this is what I like about Team Liquid, and like, I'm not like a super big TL org fan. Like, I like a lot of the players on the actual roster, but I'm not like an org fan. Is that they're willing to just make the moves to try and compete at Worlds. And I think this is what this move does. I think it's the same idea TSM had when they were trying to get a bot lane that performed at Worlds, because that was TSM's thing. Like, Double just can't get the fuck out of groups. And they were like, they made the move to compete at Worlds, not so much to continue to win NA.
But I don't think TL can make, like, that's the thing. I don't think TL can make a move to compete in NA. Like, competing in NA is just rolling out of bed. Like, rolling out of bed, like, fucked up and hung over and shit. There's like, oh, what? Oh, fuck. Oh, we got to play? Oh, okay. We smashed. You know, I mean, like, they're so Worlds focused. And in fact, like, it's the state of NA that's holding that team back.
My biggest issue with this, it's the same issue I had with Broxa or with Xmithy in general. It's small champion pool. Yes, it's more carry, like more mechanical junglers. Like he has this fucking Lee Sin, which is super fucking good.
It's always good.
Yeah, but it's like Broxa has the same issue that Xmithy does. You're pretty much trading like a high IQ player for a better mechanical player, but you still have that middle issue that they both have of having small champ pools.
I think it's a good pick, especially, you know, if they looked into the crystal ball and saw what jungle is going to be this season. I'm really excited to see how these Drake changes are going to play out in the pro scene. Like, this is, especially just in my shitty ass games, you know, the Drake fights are turning out to be like bring your boys, we're going to fight over this thing moment.
They're
like,
going back.
So many of them.
Yeah, it's going back to like when they used to be worth like a shit ton of gold.
Yep.
Like there is a fight at every fucking dragon almost.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I think this roster will do fine. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see it place first in summer.
I'd be shocked if it doesn't place first in both.
I wouldn't. I could see there being some.
Are we done with TL? Because there's only one real change, and I think you guys hammered it.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a question on my boy Just Casual's team, Golden Guardians. In what world is Golden Glue a better pickup than Poe Belter? And is it this one?
That's not my biggest question on what their roster is.
That's where I wanted to start. Do you think that Golden Glue is finally in form?
I mean, you're never gonna know until you give him the time of day, right? Like he played a few games for C9. He had some good looking performances. He had some back to normal Golden Glue looking performances. I think if it doesn't work out at GGS, he's gonna have a big problem. And my biggest fear for him is that I don't think he's a bad player. I don't think he's a playoff level mid, just like flat out.
Go ahead.
And the biggest issue here is he's making like this is probably his last ditch attempt at setting himself up to be an NA mid that is LCS eligible and not something that you just replace with an import. And he's playing on one of the worst fucking rosters I've ever seen.
My biggest fear looking at their roster is what their jungler looks like, having looked at the picture. This guy looks like he's out of fucking Mars Attacks.
He's from I believe he's from Australia.
Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. Here, let me see if I can.
Yeah. He does look like that's me.
Am I getting that?
That's not him. You just showed a picture.
Oh shit! I can't see it.
No,
all right.
That motherfucker looks like he's about to eliminate somebody's grandma with
there he is. Right
laser.
there it is. Look at this motherfucker.
I think you guys are just missing the biggest issue is they took their fucking academy 80 carry and role swapped them to support.
Oh god.
That's my
Okay,
biggest worry.
honestly, I don't think actually, I don't even think that's that big of a deal. Support is not that hard to pick up if you play ADC. It's a duo lane, guaranteed. Keith has played some support in his time, right? And look at Korg JJ. Korg JJ was an ADC and is now a prolific support, and almost was instantly. Like went to Worlds
I think
almost
comparing Keith
immediately.
and Core JJ are two completely different players to compare making that switch.
Aframu was an ADC before he was a support.
I still think Afro could play AD carry better than Keith could play AD carry.
Wise Papa Smurf was an ADC before he was a support.
Yeah, and you didn't make Diamond this season, so I don't know if that's the best.
That's a softball, Blake. You know better than that.
I know. I was giving him some bait.
I don't know. My biggest feel bad is for Hanser. Hanser deserves a way better roster than this.
Yeah, that's a terrible.
He better be getting a fucking bag and a half. Like,
I'm sure. He's got that NBA money.
Something tells me that like Golden Glue is more of a marketing based decision because for some reason he's more marketable than Pobelter.
I don't.
Well, I mean, you're going off of recency biases. Pobelter had a really bad split. He also didn't have a great team.
Yeah.
So, and it's like, well, do you take the chance on hoping that last season was just a mishap and pay the $700,000 you're going to pay for Pobe, or you
according to Pobe, he didn't even get any offers. Like it was just, he's like, I'd be willing to take a pay cut. I'd be willing to do whatever. I just want to play.
What I heard was like his twit longer was he would be in talks with the team and then he'd just get ghosted. They'd be like, yeah, we'll figure something out. We'll send you like an offer. We'll do a tryout, and then he just got ghosted. And like, I don't even like hate it from a perspective that like NA is trying new talent, not just NA talent. Yes, Golden Glue is a new talent.
Not talent.
It's giving
That's the new part of it that is concerning to me. It's the talent part. Yes.
Well, here, like, I don't think NA.
Do you think Power of Evil is better?
I don't. I think Power of Evil needs a certain team, and I don't think the team that he has. Well, we can go to FlyQuest next.
Well, okay, so back it up. Do you think he's better enough to justify an import slot?
No.
Over
I think there's 14 other.
That's a good point.
I'd take OCE mids over PoE. Like I really don't like PoE, but some people really like him. He fills this weird niche, just like what's his name? Froggen does. They don't fill the same need, but they each have this like specific way they play mid, and just like I don't know. Doinby does. Like Doinby doesn't play mid like an actual mid.
Doinby has a special niche, and then he's a fucking super carry for the world champion.
Super carries playing Nautilus and Galio.
It's fine, man, dude. I'd burn an import slot for Doinby.
Yeah, I think I might.
It's even that.
I think I might trade Power of Evil for him. Maybe.
Like I had this conversation with some people on Reddit, which I don't know how great the conversation was because I'm talking with Redditors, but I literally made the comment where I don't see why all NA mids just don't roll swap to support. Like, I really don't. Like, you have the mechanics to play support. If you want an LCS starting spot, like, NA as a region, as a whole, I think would compete better. Especially internationally, if you're using your import.
You're saying that if you're an NA mid, you swap to support and then import a mid laner.
I don't see why you wouldn't.
Because fucking top quality mid laners don't really want to play in NA.
It doesn't matter, dude. Old fucking import from EU, like 3-year-old mids are still coming over and performing better. Fucking Niski, who wasn't even like top of the game and fucking
dude, coming to NA to play like that is like when they send their fucking busted out old soccer superstars to the MLS.
Well,
they come down for a year, they stomp, and then they're like Ibrahimovic, one of the greatest players, is like takes out a full page ad in LA. He's like, "You're welcome. I came to LA. You're welcome. I'm leaving. I'm going back to Europe."
But that's the thing. It's like, why would you not waste an import slot if you're just gonna have, even if it's an older player, one, you're pulling a veteran, which is almost always going to be good in most cases. and it's better than the NA talent you already have.
We don't develop the NA talent that we have, and that's another problem that we've got.
That's a completely different issue that NA teams as a whole, like, I don't think it's their responsibility to set up lower level leagues.
Oh no, I think
it's a riot issue.
That's a geography issue as well with us because our country's so fucking big. Like that's a big.
China has like 20 servers.
Yeah, but their teams also travel. I mean, I don't know. I mean, China's also got a third of the world's population, so they've got a bigger pool to draw from.
There's a lot of things, and I had this conversation in our Discord too about why NA mids aren't starting, and it's like the reason we haven't seen any really good NA mid is because like our pool size of really good NA players. Who you have? You have Xmithy, you have Double Lift, High back when he was on C9. Sneaky is one of the best NA talents in his prime. I'm not talking right now. I'm talking about as our prime. And you don't think I can't think of any NA mid that I'd say was like super good in their prime, other than like High. And
what about Björk? Are you not counting Björk as NA talent?
Björk was an EU import.
Okay, that's fine. I'm with you.
Yeah, I know he's residential now, but I mean I want to say like
I see what you're saying.
NA. And the reason is we have a smaller like sample size. We're playing on 70 ping, where all the pros are located. So yes, it's still playable. It's not like 70 ping is unplayable for normal players, but when you're comparing perfecting mechanics on 8 ping like you do in Korea and 70 ping like you do in NA, like there were talk when Perks came to NA, one of the biggest grinders for, I forget what they came over for. Was it Rift Rivals in NA this year?
Yeah, I think
he told Double that he can't even play solo queue, that it's unplayable because he's on 70 ping. Like, I don't know.
I'm with you. I think it's one of the drawbacks to NA. That's a big problem.
Like you either need to set up 2 servers and be willing to just take the budget cut, or you have to move. You either move the server back to West Coast, or you move pro scene to East Coast,
or you just have to just put a server in fucking LA. It's not that hard.
Pro scene to Missouri.
Ooh,
I have like 19 ping.
Well, you'd want it at
you're close to Chicago. I mean, that's really where it is. But
no, Cassville.
Dude, 19 ping. That's not. I mean, I don't notice a difference. I can't tell the difference between 30 and 50 ping, but I'm a shitter.
No, I mean, okay. So all that said, I forgot even what team we were talking about at this
Golden
point.
Guardians.
Golden Guardians, right? So
I think this is our 10th place team again.
Yeah, I think they're like a hard D, right? Like I don't believe. As to like I don't know, Immortals makes a run for terrible team.
I don't know if we actually can say that I think they're a playoff team.
What? Immortals.
Yeah. So as Xmithy, Ica,
okay.
Alltech.
Those
Aqua.
2 are good. Ica?
Mm-hmm.
Who is that?
He's an import from I forget where he's from. I'll find out, but keep talking about the rest of the roster.
Alltech, who's been a perennial failure in terms of making any kind of impact on teams. Like he's just been a Apollo style
Ica's from EU. He's from EU Masters.
Okay. Apollo, Alltech's pretty much Apollo. They're both. I'm on the worst roster team ever, and I'm not gonna really make any kind of impact, but I'm here, and I'm good enough to stay in the league, or be in or out on the league depending on what the need is. And then you've got Hakuho. Okay. I think Hakuho is actually good.
We're pretty much banking on one. I think Soaz is super underrated right now. I think he's going to come in and be completely fine in the top lane, just because I don't see many tops that are going to be able to abuse him and Xmithy. Like I think it's just a super smart, like older. I expect I could actually perform really well. I could see him coming over and being better than 60% of our mids, which isn't really saying much because we're NA. But it's a coin flip. I mean, he played really, really well in EU Masters. Alltech just has to not in, and Hakuo was definitely the better half of the Apollo Hakuo matchup. I'm not saying this is a third place team. I'm saying this is a team that is going to be battling for 4, 5, 6.
FlyQuest looks pretty terrible too.
I think it's really bad because you have PoE in the mid lane.
And
You
Wild
have
Turtle.
Wild Turtle. I mean, Santorin.
So yes, Wild Turtle ints a lot, but he also has not had a good support. I think Ignar is actually an upgrade, and it might make him int a little bit less.
Wild Turtle is the stalest fucking bread of all. Like, just get a new guy and try it out. I mean,
what's really sad? He's making 700K.
That's not sad. Good for that motherfucker. Good for him. Shit.
That's sad for
No
the
wonder
league.
he's so happy all the time.
God damn.
He's like,
He was
I
on-
fooled someone
he was
into
on a-
hiring me again.
He was on a 3-year upgrading contract, so it was 500, 500, 700, and they
damn.
didn't get rid of him because no team was willing to pay the fucking 700 for Turtle plus the buyout. So they kind of signed the death wish.
I'm surprised I don't see Solo. I thought he did pretty well towards the end of that.
Solo is a mental case.
Is he? Okay. Because
He's actually just a mental boom.
I liked what he was doing at Echo Fox when they made their run at the end. Like,
Yeah,
I thought
I
his
think
play
he's
was
a good
really
play-
improved.
I think Solo is Starduck of the top lane.
Okay, I didn't realize he had those mental issues. I was like, you know what? What's up with this guy? He started playing Vlad top lane and doing a bunch of other stuff and looked really clean towards the end before Riot fucked over that org.
What's the
Good players, big mental problems.
What's the take you have on Evil Geniuses? And just to give everybody a rundown, Kumo, Svenskeren, Jizuke, Bang, Zazel.
The support, I'm not a super fan of.
Okay.
I think Zazel,
Really?
I think Zazel was actually like why Sneaky looked so bad last year. I think Zazel has a champ pool issue. I think he came in the same time as Vulcan. I think Vulcan is the second best support in NA, and I think Zazel is 6th, 7th, depending. Like, I don't think he's that good. Bang was left a lot to be desired last year. Maybe this is the upgrade. Maybe he just needs a young support. Jizuke, I heard everyone in EU fucking hates. So
Really? Why?
Has anybody ever heard Bang speak English?
yeah, I watch 100T. I watch 100T content.
Okay, I've never heard him speak English, and I've always been curious as to what kind of language barrier there is with that.
I mean, I'm sure there is, but I don't think your language barrier between I think the language barrier really comes into handy, like into play when it's like your mid jungle support.
Okay. Yeah, that makes
like
sense.
80 just needs to be able to say like peel me, and then say the champion name that they're targeting or who they're like stuff like that.
But I mean, that's in-game communication. You know what I mean? I always wonder about that kind of issue with particularly Korean imports. Like, Europe's not that big of a deal because everybody speaks English over there. I don't know what Koreans like.
Well, that's actually like a misconception, is because EU is made up of so many different things. It's like they have so many different fucking languages. Luckily, they all speak English to a point, but it's like,
Dude, I've been to Europe like 8 times. They all speak English. It's all good. They're just lying to you. They just
Oh.
don't like your hat. They're like, we cannot speak. No parlez-vous.
You don't speak to Fishman.
Je n'ai pas une cigarette. Lo siento.
I'm also scared of the Kumo pick. I don't know how that's gonna play out.
Oh, God.
But I think they lucked the fuck out with picking up Sven. And they have fuck, who's their coach?
You just said I don't speak cigarette.
No, je n'ai pas une cigarette is I don't have a
Oh,
cigarette.
je n'ai pas. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Endeavor can correct me on the next podcast. He's fluent in French.
I don't hate. I think Evil Geniuses is see. There's a lot of teams where, depending on how it plays out, I could see them being a top 3 team, or I can see them being like a 5-6 team.
Who's their mid laner?
Jizuki. He
Jizuki.
was
Okay.
Vitality's mid.
Sorry, I'm looking at an incomplete list to try to catch up on some of the people.
Are you
that
looking at the one on .esport?
Yes.
Vitality
that's
got
the
rid of
thing I
him,
have.
and he said he actually wanted to play out his whole career for Vitality, but then they
Oh, they got Jizuke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's I like him.
He can be good. He can also just kind of do nothing. So
I don't like him because he's good or bad. I like the picks he brings. I mean, like, he brings Echo. He brings some cool stuff to watch.
Okay.
That's going to be a good. I think that's going to be a good team to watch.
Last
Whether they do well
roster.
or not, I think that's going to be fun.
Yeah. Last roster I want to talk about is
Well,
100
we're
Thieves.
skipping 4 rosters.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the?
Yeah, so does Riot.
Yeah, I do.
Riot skips right over.
All right. But we're gonna end with 100 Thieves.
I was about to say, because I want to talk about 100 Thieves roster. We'll see if we share the same ideas on 100 Thieves.
All right. Do we want to talk about Cloud9 next?
Ooh.
Spicy.
A lot of like Cloud9 fans are really mad about
We're
the roster.
50 minutes in, by the way. I just
Yeah,
want
that's
to
why I was
yeah,
wanting
like,
to talk about 100 Thieves, but he wants to go hard in the paint. We've gone long before. We did
We're talking-
spend
we're
15
talking about my
minutes
favorite thing.
whoa.
We did
Define
spend
long.
15 minutes making fun of his hat, and we could probably round the podcast.
Those are the
out with
best
another
15
5.
minutes of the fucking
Yeah,
podcast.
those have been
though.
great 15 minutes. I will not.
Yeah, I
trade
love
them
talking
for
about
anything.
esports. So if we
I'm
just
fine with it.
we RNG rolled the only topic I care
If
about.
our fan base hasn't figured out how to move on to the next podcast by now, they are in for a rough,
Yeah,
rough
they
day.
know what they signed up for.
All right, C9, you got Licorice, Blabber, Niski, Sven, like EU Sven, the 80 carry, and Vulcan. I like 4/5 of this roster. I think the play was to get rid of Sneaky, not because I don't think if he came back this split that he was going to be the worst AD carry. I think he had a really off year. The same thing I think happened with a lot of players, a lot of the NA talent. But it was more so a mindset. The team that you're playing around didn't want to play with Sneaky because he didn't want to put the work in. He got benched for motivation issues. He doesn't want to compete for a spot, which, like, I understand not wanting to compete. Like, he has the talent that he should just have a starting spot in NA.
He shouldn't have to compete at C9. Like, I think that's part of the issue too. Like,
Okay,
after a year and being humbled, but like, I understand when he says I shouldn't have to compete for my spot at this organization.
I don't think that should ever be true of any organization.
I'm not saying it,
I'm
but like
a C9 fan. Like,
you got a chair.
you got a chair. It says C9. That's the thing right there.
You fart on your team, by the
How
way.
come none of you assholes told me my pillow was on backwards? That's
You're
fucked up.
too busy making fun of your hat.
Yeah, you couldn't feel it because of
It's
your
an upside.
your
That's
hat.
right side up.
So anyway, no, I don't
Is
think
it made of
should ever be-
concrete? Your pillow?
Okay, so on the sneaky thing,
Oh,
I don't
John's
think
gonna
that
walk
should
in a
ever be
second.
true of any organization because the whole point of the LCS.
That's
is to
John?
play-
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Sorry.
He's not even carrying a fish. Anyway, I think the whole point of the LCS in any organization is to play the maximum competitive team that you can. And I think anybody not having to defend their position, not having to defend their spot, it's like you are not playing competitively, you're playing for marketing at that point.
See, and I disagree with you on this point because I think that because of the state of NA, that's not the goal. The goal of these organizations is to make money. Like that is why their owners bought them. They are there to make money. Like, and if your team,
I also think that's wrong.
I think it's wrong. Don't get me wrong, but
No,
like,
I mean
that's real.
I don't think fucking
The whole "we're going to win worlds" attitude is only said realistically because of its effect on marketability. Because you cannot be a team that says we're here to make money. Every team has to say they're coming out to win worlds. Every fucking one of them does. Oh, we're trying to win worlds, and it's bullshit.
I don't think if you're trying to make money, you buy into franchising. You're paying $20 million for a slot. You're paying
The point of franchising
mil
was to get
per
NBA
player.
teams to pay their $20 million for their spot.
You got 2 NBA teams paying.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's hard to say, but I mean,
You
like, I don't
can't-
think
you
that was
can't
their
set up-
call either.
I don't think franchising is a bad call. I think here's where it does become a bad call. One, you have one server, and if you're going to franchise, you need to make it like an actual thing where like big cities have a team, but then you also run into they're not playing from there, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like all your teams are just located in Cali.
And
So
I think
you
that's one of the
can't-
biggest advantages that China has is that their teams travel to different fucking arenas and they get used to playing on the road.
It's not even that. Like, I mean,
No, I think
your
that's a big factor.
Your
Man.
super big organizations in Korea are your 2 internet providers and SKT and KT.
There's a big difference between playing your LCS matches and going home every week. right? And getting into that mentality of I play my game and I go home. And a difference between I'm going to get on a plane, I'm going to live in a hotel for 3 days, I'm going to play on foreign soil, and then I'm going to come back. That helps you in a world setting. That helps you in a Rift setting. Like every time. Like you're going to fall into competitive patterns when you live at home. Like, and if you're comfortable in that same arena and you get stale and you get used to that stuff, practice makes permanent. It doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes permanent. And I think that's a huge advantage that China has that people don't really think about is that these guys are on the road. They know how to play on away soil. They know how to go back to a hotel room that's not familiar to them. They know how to be on the road and compete while on the road. I mean, you can take your team to Korea or Europe or wherever for 3 weeks and eat a bunch of gyros or whatever the fuck you eat in Greece and try to get acclimated for 3 weeks. That doesn't get you the mentality. I think that's a big difference. I really do.
Diarrhea.
I'd agree with you to a point, but like we see Korea and EU come out and able to challenge most of the Chinese teams. I think NA's biggest issue is one, we don't have the player based pool to have a lot of natural born talent. And I think we're into first person shooters as a country. And like,
our 13 and 14-year-old, 12, 11-year-olds aren't playing League.
Yeah,
they're playing Fortnite. They're playing
Apex Legends,
Counter-Strike, all this other shit. Like,
yeah, we're
of course we're not growing that.
Yeah, we're a shooter based,
which is why our schools are shot up way more than Korea.
All right, let's
chill. It's video games. I mean, I think we all agree that's a popular opinion. It's video games that are doing it, right?
And we wonder why we go so long on topics.
I agree with Steve Zissou over here. He's got a point.
I think one of like NA's biggest issue is we don't have the player base to pull from for talent. Our solo queue is a mess.
Solo queue's a shit show.
There's a reason all our talent is fucking toxic. It's because solo queue is fucking toxic. You have inters, you have AFKs, and there's no punishable. There's no punishment.
Oh. No, if you say something mean, if you say something mean, you get punished.
And it's not even that I hate the fact that if you say something mean, you get punished. I'm saying the fact that if you ruin a game, you don't get punished. That's
I hate
the problem.
That. I hate
That's
that
the biggest. I don't care if you're going to ban me for calling someone a fucking idiot, but you better ban the person for fucking inting and AFKing.
Preach.
You're playing on high ping, so you're never going to have the same mechanics as a fucking EU player or a Korean playing on half the ping, a third of the ping, of your ping. This fucking sucks.
All right, so C9, they got rid of Sneaky.
You wanted extra time to talk about other rosters before 100 Thieves, and yet have failed to mention a single other roster.
Really mention C9. I like their moves. I don't know if this Vents thing is going to pay off. I think you have to make a move. You have to replace Sneaky because the talent that you're playing through doesn't want to play with Sneaky because of his attitude.
I think they are underestimating how many people are C9 fans because of Sneaky.
Well, this is the thing.
I don't think that matters.
I don't
need to field the best team. I don't think
is Sven.
You need a change.
That's fine.
I don't think. Okay, so correct me here. I said I think you need to field the best team. I don't think that's a good move.
Yeah, I'm fine with you replacing Sneaky. I'm fine with
replacing Sneaky.
In principle,
like
but
Sneaky,
not with that.
No, my problem is that everybody's like, they didn't do right by Sneaky. And I'm like, I don't think that's true. They told the guy, like, you have legit performance issues in that
he should have seen the writing on the wall.
Yeah, like you don't want to try out for your spot. You don't want to keep in top form. You're not motivated. These are all enormous problems for any professional player. Any of them. Mm-hmm. Right? And so I don't think you can just be like, oh man, they deserve to keep Sneaky around forever. And I'm like, dude, that's not how professional sports work. Like
I think he's good enough. I think he's good enough to be on a team. I don't think he's good enough to be on a top 3 organization right now.
I don't think he's good enough to be on a top 3 organization without having to maintain form.
No, yeah, that's what I mean. He was not at top 3 form. I'd argue that he wasn't at he was barely making playoff form. In what he should be.
I mean, who has been the farthest in fucking Worlds recently?
Well,
C9?
Yeah, it wasn't off of Sneaky.
I mean, I guess I just
I think bot lanes was the dumbest move from C9 is getting rid of Sven.
Sven Garen, that's fucking retarded.
But you have to do it because you're importing
Import.
AD. You don't have a choice. I don't think.
Yeah, you have to
Blabber's a
replace
bad
him with an
jungler.
import ADC.
You don't have a bad jungler in Blabber. The problem is I don't see any person on this lineup to shot call late game, and that's always been Blabber's issue. You have
Maybe
Vulcan
Liquor is just going to be the shot caller now.
is
I
partially.
thought Zazel was their shot caller too, which is why I'm surprised they got rid of that because that's what I remember seeing on videos.
Yeah, there's a lot. It could work, and it could go up in flames in the first year. Like, there's a lot of stuff could happen. I think my biggest problem with this roster from a talent perspective is having Sven back. I don't think he's worth an import slot. I don't hate the Blabber pickup, but I also don't think Blabber is better than Sven. But I also don't know what NA mid you would pick up or NA AD carry that you'd pick up to replace Sneaky, because I don't think you're getting any of the other ones. Stixay isn't leaving CLG, which is where we can go next. I like CLG's roster. I think it's an improvement.
CLG?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You upgraded mid.
Ruin, Wiggly, Crown is big. Stixay and Smoothie, yeah.
I think Smoothie and Bio are pretty interchangeable. I think they offer different things, but I think from a talent perspective, a lot of people see them as very equal. I think Stixay is a good AD carry. I think Wiggly showed promise. Ruin is still either int or plays well. I think this roster can do really well. I think CLG fans finally have a team that they can look forward to, maybe competing for like a finals match.
It's hard for me to respect any grown man that wears like a crucifix earring, like a dangling crucifix earring. That's just what the
Fair
fuck.
enough. I don't have anything else to say about CLG. I think it's an upgrade.
Although in one of the regions when they were like pick them MVP, I didn't know any player and I picked exclusively dangling crucifix earrings. And
I know we did
that shit.
I remember when we went through and picked for.
You're like the weird. I think I picked that fucking guy from Mars Attacks too. I was like, I don't know who the fuck this guy is.
I picked all the weird looking dudes.
Fucking Wayne the Brain McLean.
Like oblong heads, and shit like that. All right, what the last two are what? Dignitas and 100 Thieves.
Dignitas and 100 Thieves.
All right, Dignitas. Huni for a $2.3 million.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Wait, what? American money.
Yeah, American dollars.
$2.3 million guaranteed over 2 years.
You ain't winning that.
I'm not winning it. That's what they paid a pretty shitty top laner in NA, John.
He's like, you ain't winning that. You ain't getting no 2.3 million. Get your head out the clouds, boy. Your life's on a boat.
So that means you can get your own place.
Yeah, I could. I could pay off this place for you too. I'd be a nice kid.
He mad.
Oh God! I hope that came through.
Brutal.
Oh please, God.
Oh,
You want to come
John.
be on the episode, John? You want to come record
John,
with me?
get on here, baby. We gotta give you some
Oh
love.
God,
baby. Come on now.
John has a
The
guest
podcast.
pass.
You coming?
You're podcasting?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you
We
are
had this
podcasting
conversation.
right now.
You're on it right now.
Yeah, you're doing great.
Yeah.
Glasses off?
You know a lot about the NA
Pants
roster
on,
pages?
glasses off. Come on.
I don't
Come
care
on.
about the NALCS anymore. You just tell me about him.
That's,
I don't know shit, but that's
No.
You're the
No,
greatest guy ever.
No,
Best
no.
guest ever.
You don't have to know anything.
They're saying
Just
you don't have
talk
to know
about him.
anything.
All right, cool.
They just want you to shit talk me.
He's an asshole.
Thank you.
I don't even have to hear him. I just love their reactions.
I'm
I
the
love
best.
this
I'm the
man.
best player here, though. So
I love that man.
Well, that's what you're saying. Doesn't mean it's true.
that's what the
That's
stats
awesome.
show. I'm the highest
I
rank.
don't know.
Look, we'll pull up
Hey,
the ranks.
Astros.
I don't know.
Ask him
So
if
this
he-
is me. I'm in the top 3.3%, right?
Okay, so
W-
Astros.
what does
do
that
me a
get you?
favor. Ask him a question for me.
All right. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that when he's wearing that hat, he looks like he's gonna attack Kevin
Something
McAllister
about
from
your
Home
hat.
Alone?
Yeah. They asked because of my hat. Do I look like I'm about to attack who?
Kevin McAllister from Home Alone.
Kevin McAllister.
It's not like I keep our house like 60 degrees either. I mean, it's
Right.
like 70
Dude,
degrees
it's
and you
my
still got
hair.
this freaking hat
It's
on.
the hair.
So what?
Like I need a haircut. I'm just really lazy. Like you know this.
You're not. You're lazy? No way.
That's That's what I'm saying.
Astros, ask your
Go
dad
with
if
your
he's
Domino's
happy.
and chicken nuggets and your 6th grader diet, but that's okay.
It tastes good, you know? It's easy. It's efficient. Finger food, you know?
Yeah, but if I don't tell you I'm not cooking for you, you don't know what the hell to do.
Oh God!
I'll have Sammy cook for me.
Exposed him
Hey,
for eating
hey,
SpaghettiOs
I've got a
for 3
question for
meals a day.
John. I have a question for John Astros.
All right.
Are you sure you wanted me to come on here?
I did. This
Yeah.
is going to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a winner.
When Astros is successfully terminated from his supervised probation stint, does he have to give the hat back?
So they think I'm on probation. They're wondering is when my probation is over, do I have to give the hat back?
I could just take the hat off now if you want.
No.
They said no.
Yeah.
Not doing that. It ties the whole room
When he was
together.
younger, he had like
It does it not.
Like
I
that, yeah.
still have long hair.
not that it wasn't as long as it was before.
Well, no, it's not going to hit that point again.
Hey, I've got a question.
Oh, we got
Okay,
another
Astros-
question.
No.
You pull up all the league ranks and show it to John between the three of us.
Okay.
And me and Blake are going to pull up our tax returns, and we're going to see which one John.
All right, this isn't fair. So they're admitting that I'm higher rank, but they're both lawyers, so they're trying to flex their money.
Did you see the look on his face? He
Yeah,
was like,
so?
my kid
They
could have
want,
been
they want you
something.
to be disappointed in me.
I could have been a contender.
They're 80 years old and make more than a 20-year-old. They're really happy about that flex.
That's true.
I'm always disappointed in you. So
That's
what's the
also true.
difference?
That's also true.
I think we can just wrap up the podcast right there. I think we're done for this
You
evening.
got lawyer friends. That's good in case you get in trouble.
Yeah, because I leave the house to get in trouble.
Yeah, well, maybe you'll get in a fight with a Domino's delivery driver. I don't know.
God, they know me. It's like first name
Yes,
basis now.
He
You know?
has such high
You're proud of that?
expectations for you.
They don't forget my garlic sauce either when I make the order.
All right. We're going to call the podcast right there. I think we
Again,
got
you're
it.
proud of that.
I'm
I think
so
we
proud.
killed it. I think
Oh,
this
we have
is it.
announcements. We have announcements.
Oh, shit. Go ahead.
The rap.
The tournament is coming along. Me and
Yeah,
Bill
yeah,
should be
yeah,
putting
John,
together a
I'm
team.
glad I could make an appearance.
Oh, dude, you were
Yeah,
the best,
you
John.
were
John.
fantastic.
John, anytime.
I do?
Usually we
Anytime.
record on
Come on
Thursdays.
back.
Okay.
So when you guys walk in from the perk, you get some cameo time.
Yeah, but I never really get on camera time like this. So
No,
Oh,
no.
this is
but
great.
usually when you walk in, you do make comments. So
Okay.
your comments are
Always
often
often
appreciated.
recorded
okay,
and apparently appreciated.
I'm glad I can contribute.
The
I
difference
think-
between John and Astros is that I wouldn't fight John in a bar.
So apparently the main difference between me and you is they don't want to fight you in a bar.
The big difference,
Glad to hear that.
between you and Astros.
And if
is
you
that
fought him in a bar, you'd kick his ass anyway, so
Yeah.
it wouldn't matter.
Now, the big difference between John
Let
and
me get Donnie
Astros.
Or
Bro,
he'd get,
hold
a,
on, hold
or
on.
he'd get a concussion.
I know
so.
Blake is going to make a comment right now that says the main difference is your mustache connects to my beard and mine doesn't.
That too. That was one. No, yeah. But no, I was actually going to say the big difference between Astros and John is that John has 2 fans.
Oh, you have 2 fans.
Yeah?
It's these 2.
All right, cool. I'm happy. I got 2 fans. It's more than I had before.
And twice as many as Astros.
How many emails have I gotten, Blake? I've gotten more emails than
I don't know
everyone
why
I
else.
I'm
bet
yelling.
John's going to start getting emails now.
I don't know.
He's
I bet
very
John's gonna
excited.
get
I'm
all
excited.
the emails.
Clearly excited.
I'm on a podcast getting 2 likes. How cool is that?
Oh, God, he's killing it.
I did say that I would get you on to sit down, so I'm glad we can make this
I'm
happen.
glad we
That's
can do
good.
this.
Wasn't even
Oh,
planned.
God.
It makes it even better.
Do we have any other announcements? Or
That's his
anything?
wife.
I saw that look, John. I saw that look. I saw Chelsea walk across.
She's not going to make an appearance? Nobody else makes an appearance, just me?
That's his
They're
wife.
they're not as cool as you.
That's
do.
Oh,
a man's wife.
So, well, you have announcements. You wrap
Okay,
Okay, now they're wrapping it up.
All right.
wrapping it up.
Wrapping it up. Okay, so we've had
I
the
want to see
tournament
the guy in the
lineup
lower right
sheet.
go down the slide in the background. That'd be cool.
On this slide.
Yeah.
There's usually a Thomas train, but
Okay.
I think he's
All right.
hiding it.
All right.
Yeah, no, it's in yeah. All right.
All right. Love you, John.
Nice to see you guys.
They
Nice
said
to
they
see you,
love
man.
All
Nice to see you, John.
Love you too.
Free
Welcome
legal
back
advice in North
anytime.
Carolina. Got you back anytime in the court of law.
James,
How does the breadwinner of your home have a shittier chair than Astros? That doesn't make sense either. But me and Zill will probably be looking to sort out teams. We're doing a round robin, so you've already if you're listening to this now and you haven't signed up, probably a little late. But pay attention if you have signed up, because we're trying to do this round robin over the course of like a week or two. So getting people on the same page as far as times and whatnot, team captains, et cetera, just keep your eye on the Discord for organizing that stuff. It's kind of a new thing. We're trying it out, seeing if it works.
And even if you didn't sign up, like, announce that you would be willing to fill, because sometimes we need that.
So the big difference about this tournament is typically we've tried to run all the games in a tournament on one night. We're not doing that this time. We're going to try to schedule them over the course of several nights. So we will need subs across varying levels, across varying lanes. So, people will not be showing up, and we'll have room to get y'all in.
Am I gonna be a superstar now?
They might want you back.
Are we? What's going on?
All right, thanks.
Everybody, are we having technical difficulties?
What?
I can't hear Blake at all.
I can't hear Blake either. Oh, his mic is up, so it's muted. He's talking to Chelsea.
Oh, he's talking to his wife. Okay. Anyway, those are the announcements. We've been doing some good stuff with Discord, so appreciate your Discord boosts. Astros, what Discord server are you boosting these days?
My server.
Your server.
Yeah.
Your server. Okay. Don't be like Astros, people. Don't do that. Support the community that you come from. And
I do it is I've been streaming a lot. That's where I link my stream to.
Okay.
all right, so
I'm gonna wrap this up right now. Okay, so tournament's on. Make an appearance. That's
Discord,
awesome.
Patreon, thank you.
Discord, Patreon, thank
Boost
you
our
guys.
server, not Astros's.
Dude, we got to. This is just like, I'm gonna rename this like family cameos, because that's all this is.
I really feel like we should just take like the 5 minutes to talk about 100T.
At this point, do you think anybody's still in this thing? We'll just next time. We'll do it next time.
Bonus episode for Patreon supporters.
Yeah, bonus episode for Patreon supporters. We'll record that later. All right, man. So with that, we'll sign out. Thank you all for all your Patreon support. If we get back over 200, we will buy Astros a hat.
What about this? What about this? Hey, John.
Yeah.
What amount of money on Patreon do we have to make for you to
even know what a Patreon is? I'll pay this right fucking now.
But like, how much are we at right now, Blake? Roughly.
166.
We're at 166.
We've had a dip lately.
No, Korean yen.
And I'm giving 150 a month. So
yeah.
what the fuck is
And
going
somebody
on?
else is getting 16. We got 2 fans. Other than that,
I don't actually know what yen is, but yeah. Okay. No, 166 US is what we're at right now. What do we need to hit for you to come back?
I'll come back. You just gotta
Boom. Done.
done.
Anytime. Free.
I'll take that.
All right.
That's a good bid.
Hit him with the good night.
All right, good night, everybody. We got John coming back. Maybe next week. Who knows?
Every week.
Every week, John's
week.
permanent member.
9
Send in your fan mail to John, not Astros, because that's what we want. And good night, everybody.
Usually we record Thursdays.